This video, I'm going to talk about the human need to be right. It's kind of a funny thing. I notice that I definitely have this tendency. I love to be right. I love to have my point proven, especially if there's a debate or I'm having a discussion with somebody and there's maybe a disagreement. I know deep down I want to be right about whatever we're talking about. It's a weird thing. It's a weird instinct that us humans have. I don't know if any other animal has this, but we definitely have a desire to want to be right about the things that we're talking about. Being aware of that, I always think when I'm having a discussion with somebody and we disagree on something, I always ask myself, what if I'm wrong? Now, you out there may be the rare individual that's never been wrong about anything in their life, and that's cool. I envy you. But I know through personal experience, I have been wrong about a lot of things. So I'm much more malleable and open to changing my mind about things than, say, if you'd checked with me 10 years ago. I'd be much more like resilient and dug into my opinions and less likely to hear dissenting thoughts or opinions. But where I'm at now, through personal experience and a lot of other things that I've learned, I always leave the door open to, what if I'm wrong? What if this person that I feel is wrong, we have a differing opinion on something? What if this person actually has a point? What if they're right? Or what if at least they have a point of view that I hadn't taken into consideration, which would at least alter my opinion a little bit? And I think that's something that we could all benefit from. Again, I know we all have this desire to want to be right on everything, but statistically, it's highly unlikely that we'll be right about every single thing that we're talking about. Just in a very specific field, let's talk about my industry, in the fitness industry. I've definitely changed my opinion on things. When I started 10 years ago, I had very strong beliefs about ways to train, ways to eat, ways to live. And, this I thought was backed up by all this other stuff that I was seeing and reading. I'd read an article that would kind of validate my opinion. I'm like, okay, exactly. They're saying something that I also say, so I must be especially right because I'm not the only one thinking it. This person's thinking it too. But what I was ignoring, or maybe intentionally, maybe just kind of like subconsciously, there's other opinions out there. And if I would come across an opinion that was different than what I believed, I would just say like, well, I probably know more than this person, so they're probably wrong and I'm still right. But again, 10 years later, I'm giving much different advice about certain things than I was back then. One thing, let's just say, using a Bosu ball to improve your balance. If you know what a Bosu ball is, it's like a blown up half ball with a flat plastic surface. Now, when I started training, those things were super popular. You'd use a Bosu ball for everything. You'd stand on one leg and juggle and recite the ABCs backwards, and it was the greatest thing ever in the fitness industry. It was improving your balance and core strength and blah blah blah. And I've since learned that pretty much none of that is true. It's not that a Bosu ball is totally useless, but it's definitely not accomplishing the things that I thought it was back then. But I was telling people like, hey, get on Bosu ball, you need to, this is going to improve, blah blah blah. These days I very rarely have people on a Bosu ball. Now, I don't consider that to be a bad thing. I've changed my opinion and my approach based on new evidence. And so that's why, because I've seen over and over that, if you want to call it making a mistake, or I just call it growing, through new evidence, I've grown and changed my opinion and belief system. And that isn't just with my fitness industry background. That's really about anything, whether it's political or, a social topic. I always try and leave the door open in the back of my mind that, what if I'm wrong? So I try to, if I'm talking to somebody and they have a different opinion, really try to listen to them. It's hard to do. I realize it's a skill that needs to be worked on, because our instinct is to like shut a person down, ignore them, wait for them to finish talking so I can tell you why I'm right and why you're wrong. But if you want to improve your relationships with people and you want to be happier really with your interactions with most humans, just you know, leave the door open to what if you're wrong. Just ask yourself that, and you know, maybe you're not, maybe you're right, but it never hurts to ask yourself and you know, be open to changing your opinion. That's it for this video. See you in the next one.